Entrepreneur India is with Rahul Sasi of CloudSEK. The company is now based out of Singapore after having been here for 2.5 years. They've got rich international clients like Uber, Grab. Rahul is here. He's going to tell us why he's moved to Singapore. But more interestingly, he decided to drop out of college simply to start this venture called CloudSEK. So I'm going to get Rahul to tell me. Rahul, you spoke about dropping out of your engineering college because you wanted to pursue the internship that has actually led to your entrepreneurial dream come true. What does an entrepreneur, when does an entrepreneur decide that it's time to, take all the shots?
Well, if I say you have to start listening to your heart, then that will be like a very broad statement. The best way is actually to take calculated risk. Actually, when there's an opportunity, you have to seize that opportunity, and all the good opportunities comes with a risk. Now you have to calculate a little bit. Okay, what if I screw this up? What is the worst thing that can happen to you?
Right.
But what if I make it big? What is the results that will come out of you? And then you equate, keep the downside and the upside, and you can equate it on a balance, and you can easily figure out whether it's right time to jump or not. So that's one. And you look at it. I mean, every human being, right? There has to be a motivational factor. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by power. For me, the motivation was fear. I mean, I was always afraid of one thing or the other. So for me, I was like, if I drop out of engineering, I don't have a degree, the chances of me going to be successful is nil, right? So that's a fear, and that's for my motivation. So I have to work really hard, harder than everyone in my college who has now a degree, harder than the 10 lakhs and lakhs of engineering students that passes out of college who has a degree and is much smarter than me. And if I have to outrun them and I have to be successful, then I have to work much harder. So that fear was important for me at that point of time to be successful. So I found my motivating factor to be fear, and then I choose to, have fear along my side. That's all.
I see. So your company CloudSEK has now got some key customers, some big clients. Tell me how do you manage these big clients? What is your experience? What is the most fun thing about dealing with some of the best startups in the world?
It's pretty easy to get another startup as your customer, because the sales cycles are comparatively less. Because the decision making in these companies are not large, right? I mean, there'll be one key decision maker, and then he can sign the check.
Right.
So it's kind of very comfortable working with these unicorn startups. But on the other side, you have these large companies, I'm not going to name, but the very large companies who have a very long decision making process, a chain of decision makers. Getting those customers was one of our most painful process. So I think we focused on the unicorn startups in the initial years. That was able to generate us fast revenue.
Right.
After we had enough money in the bank, then only we focused on the
larger
consumer. Yeah.
I want to know, you dropped out of engineering college, you decided to start your own company, the company's taken flight, you have big customers. What do you think that the epitome of success is? When does an entrepreneur know that he or she is successful?
I mean, see, if you're I'm not doing this to be successful, right? I'm doing this because I like what I'm doing, right? I mean, I always like the fact that I'm doing something which is very impactful. For example, right? I mean, one of the things which we do is we identify stolen credentials, which is stolen credit cards and debit cards of individual users, which got hacked and leaked online. We find that and send it back to the banks.
Right.
This way, we were able to actually protect almost 1 million users and in more than multiple crores in financial losses. So for me is a good deed. It makes me happy doing it.
Right.
So that's what I mean. How can I do something which will impact more people, actually help more people, and at the same time build an amazing technology out of this country is what I am focused on. whether I'm successful or not is not something which I, how can I achieve the other target in a much better way is what I keep thinking and discussing about.
You moved base to Singapore.
Yeah.
How is your experience? Do you think Singapore is a data and technology centric hub? And what is your experience? Do you love it or?
It took me maybe a month to register a company in India. It took me 2 days to register a company in Singapore. So there's a significant upside there. You can in Bangalore take maximum 3 meetings. In Singapore, you can actually take 6 to 7 meetings in a day. So the productivity wise, it's much higher there. And end of the day, you're happy if you're productive, right? You're happy because you achieved certain milestones. And that way I find Singapore to be great. But then you have to understand all the initial customers we had came from India only. People sell to people, right? And there were people who knew me, who bought from me. That was never possible if I would have started in Singapore. That's only possible with a country like India, where we have a stronger relationship and bonds with people around us.
Right.
And that's one of the most advantageous thing about being in India as well. So there are pros and cons.